a diva. Hopkins does
That's
not
true.
say a word. Like Hopkins is gonna go out there. He obviously, just like we all would, he hated fucking Bill O'Brien and playing for him.
I'm on Bill O'Brien's side though.
He's not, but he obviously. What's up, Fackers? We are back with our Fantasy and Chill 101, counting down the top 101 fantasy football players for the 2020 season. Number 16 on our countdown is wide receiver, and this is going to hurt to say. I think Matt's actually playing some sad music for us maybe, but wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, DeAndre Hopkins. He is our 5th ranked wide receiver. Last year he finished as wide receiver number 6. He had 104 catches for 1,165 yards and 7 touchdowns on 150 targets. He scored 223.54 points per game, an average of 14.9 points per game. He didn't score 223 points per game. Those are obviously his total points. That'd be impressive, yeah. So as we know, like we mentioned, he was traded to the Cardinals from my Texans now. Matt's not a Texan fan anymore. Britt never was. But traded to the Cardinals. Had to wear my jersey one more time for him. A D-Hop Texans jersey. So he's going from Deshaun Watson to the second-year quarterback, Kyler Murray. He has been very consistent, top wide receiver in the game the last few years. He's finished top 5 at the wide receiver fantasy position in 4 of the last 5 seasons. During that span, he has averaged 10.5 targets per game. He's a target monster. And since we're talking about his new team, the Cardinals, their first year last year with Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, they started off a little slow that people were expecting, but they definitely finished strong. The offense, just talking about the Cardinals offense, scored 3 or more touchdowns in 8 of their last 11 games. Okay, so they were doing better. They're going to be in year 2 of the Cliff offense with Kyler. I expect I know I'm pretty high on the Cardinals offense as a whole.
Sounds like I should turn off the sad music for this part then.
Yeah.
It's not a sad thing.
I'm sad as a Texans fan that we don't get DeAndre Hopkins anymore, but I think the Cardinals are going to be pretty damn good this year. I know me and Matt like Kenyon Drake. I like Kyler a lot. Of course, we like Hopkins. So
you mean the Cardinals offense is going to be good, right? You don't think the Cardinals is a team?
I said the Cardinals offense.
Oh, okay. I thought you just said the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm not coming out and saying the Cardinals are winning that division because that's probably the toughest division
that's what
in football.
I would.
But I expect them to put up a lot of points, and probably some of that is going to be due to they're going to give up a lot of points also.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. I mean, I like Hopkins a lot. I mean, he's that 5th wide receiver. You have Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill, and then he's number 5. And I think that's consensus. I don't think anyone has Godwin, Galladay, Amari Cooper, Mike Evans.
He's definitely the dividing line between where you would consider elite and that next tier.
He is. And I mean, he has gone in the first round before in previous drafts. And this year he's... Do what?
I just mentioned he went number 8 in our draft last year,
Yeah, 8 in our draft last year. I mean, the thing with me is it doesn't really matter. He is going to a new offense and everything. Like, he's done this with quarterbacks like Ryan Mallett, Brian Hoyer. Well, Brian Hoyer was actually somewhat decent. Yeah, I mean, in 2015, that was the year he had
Brock Osweiler, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Brock Osweiler, Brandon Weeden, I think, maybe TJ Yates. But
Keenum, I got him.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, this year, I kind of like Hopkins just because of where he's going. He's going at the end of the second. Like, if you go, well, in some drafts, I've seen him go into the second. But if you do have that top 3 spot and get one of those top running backs, I mean, he's a great number 1 wide receiver right there. Because otherwise, I do really like Galladay, and then you have Godwin there, or Mike Evans. But I think Hopkins is the easy pick right after those top 4.
Yeah, if you have a top 3 or 4 pick, so that means you already have McCaffrey, Barkley, Zeke, or whether you like Henry, Cook, or Kamara there, and then Hopkins last till that second, that's your best case scenario. Like, if Hopkins is still there at 16 through 20, you're gonna feel amazing after that, having maybe the best wide receiver in the game. Now, we all agree that Michael Thomas is probably the best fantasy receiver, but DeAndre Hopkins, you can make an argument, best actual receiver, and he's a really good fantasy receiver. To pair with that top fantasy running back, you're gonna be loving it.
There's a reason he's falling later than usual, which is just because of new offense. Because if he was on the Texans, he's probably going first round again.
Yeah, I can see him going right with their Julio or even Tyreek.
I mean, yeah, he'd be around those other guys. I think that people are realizing, especially in this year, just how deep the wide receiver position is, like we talked about, and people are just making sure they grab that running back first.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or is Devontae Adams kind of like everyone has him number 2, and I'm just like, I mean, I think Julio or Hopkins, or not Hopkins, Hill. I don't know. I don't see everyone's infatuation with Devontae.
He was really good in the games he played last year. So if he can stay healthy, he's obviously the top target for Aaron Rodgers. And I don't want to talk too much about him because he's coming up pretty soon in the rankings. But yeah, I think all 5 of those receivers are really close together.
So you have Hopkins in the same tier.
Thomas is separated, but those next 4 guys are all really close.
So you have all the 4 of those guys in the same tier then?
Yeah.
Hopkins is in like the 3rd tier just by himself.
I have Hopkins, Julio, Adams, and Tyreek and all in the same tier.
So you're not, because with the Texans, he didn't have any really competition. Like Will Fuller was there, but he'd get hurt every other week and just missed like he never really had a number 2 with him in Houston. In Arizona, he's got Larry Fitzgerald, who he's older, but Christian Kirk's there too.
Yeah, but Christian Kirk is a Will Fuller. Like
those guys aren't target hogs either. Yeah. Like Hopkins is going to demand 140 targets. Like. And they don't really have a tight end there either.
Oh, yeah. Tight ends out. But they do have Kenyon Drake, and in Houston, the running backs weren't getting any receptions. Kyler, he'll dump it off to a running back more than Deshaun Watson will. And Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald both had over 100 targets last year.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you don't trade for Hopkins for no reason and sign him. They're going to sign him to a long-term deal.
They had that many receptions and targets out of necessity. Like, they didn't have Hopkins to throw to.
Exactly.
Kyler's going to figure out very quickly that Hopkins is just miles ahead of anybody else he's had. And like, he's going to be a target monster once again, just like he was with the Texans.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard to, I mean, I can't say anything to like sway anyone off Hopkins because there's really nothing bad to say. Those are just the 2 points I wanted to bring up, is that they do have more receivers in Arizona than they had in Houston. More healthy receivers. That might steal some targets.
Yeah, and I think the point, like, we're getting to like the first 2 rounds of players here, so everyone's going to be good.
Yeah, everybody's good.
I think what we need to distinguish is the value, because that's what you're really getting. Yeah. And I think Hopkins is great value because you're getting a guy who can finish number 1. He's done it before, and you're getting him at the end of the 2nd round just because people are a little scared he's going to a new offense.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say to that is, we all know how crazy this offseason is. Now, he's already been working out with Kyler. They even worked out in the before training camp started. So they should have that chemistry hopefully established by then. But him and Deshaun, I think Deshaun could probably close his eyes and throw it to Hopkins by the end of last year. So, but I don't think, he's not a guy that you have to like really work with. Like I said, he's maybe the best in the game. You just throw it to him, he's going to catch it. He doesn't drop anything.
Tell me your thoughts. I heard this comparison earlier, and it was comparing basically this situation in Arizona with Baker Mayfield's 2nd year, how he had last year, basically. He had all that hype, and then he got Odell, right? Last year was the first season with Odell?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and it's the same scenario. Kyler's going into his 2nd season. He's getting a number 1 wide receiver. Like, people are saying that the hype, I don't know. The hype could be derailed.
I'll say to that.
Dude, Kyler's going number 4 or 5, and
there's Kyler. There's hype with Kyler.
There's just like we said earlier. We don't expect the car. I think he's talking about the hype. Like, people were saying the Browns were going to make the play. Like, there's not Cardinals hype like there
Baker
was
Browns
number
hype. 5. Baker was 5 quarterback last year off the board.
Yeah, he was. But I'm just getting at that.
Yeah, I just heard it. I thought it was a good comparison.
No, I like the comparison. I'm just saying that. And also, like, part of OBJ's downfall is his attitude, and he's such a diva. Hopkins does not say a word. Like, Hopkins is going to go out there. He obviously, just like we all would, he hated fucking Bill O'Brien and playing for him.
I'm on Bill O'Brien's side, though.
He's not. But he obviously probably hated playing for him. He didn't ever complain. He went out there, he played, he caught the pass. Like, he's going to do what he needs to do. OBJ is going to sit over there and pout if he's not getting the ball. Like, they're just completely different wide receivers.
Yeah. I want to bring up one more thing, too, just to dispel some, I don't know, there's, I guess, a myth out there that the Cardinals' offense is like this high-powered offense. They throw the ball a ton. They really didn't throw the ball that much last year. I think they're 18th in passes per game. The only thing they do is they play very fast, so their pace is really high, but they're not throwing the ball a lot. So that's why I could see Hopkins' targets going down that way too.
They're not, but I think also just kind of like what me and Britt said earlier, that they didn't have anybody near as good as him. So I mean, he's the best player on the team, best player on their offense. He is.
Kenyon Drake, but
no, DeAndre Hopkins is better than Kenyon Drake as far as just football talent. They're going to get him the ball.
I don't think we spoke about Kenyon Drake yet, have we?
We haven't. I didn't say fantasy. Okay. I said just the football player.
He was 9th in passes.
Who was?
Attempts. Kyler Murray. Maybe not the Cardinals as a whole, but he was 9th. So
I'll have to fact check you on that one.
Can you guess number 1? And there's a tie.
Jameis Winston.
Yes, Jameis is 1.
And
wait, just let me. Philip Rivers.
We got a little off topic, but no, 7.
I know this one.
I don't want one guess.
Matt Ryan.
3.
Who is it?
Jared Goff.
Oh.
Makes sense because they fucking sucked at running the ball last year. Oh yeah. All right, so just like kind of Matt said earlier, we're getting down to these guys, and Britt said it too. It's hard to find bad things to say about them, and we're a little biased. At least I am, because DeAndre Hopkins has been on the Texans the last 7 years. I think he's the best receiver in football. It's gonna be sad not to root for him this year. I'll still be rooting for him, just not on the Texans. But DeAndre Hopkins is our 5th ranked wide receiver, number 16 overall. We out.
We out.
Bingo.
Bingo bang.